I know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our On Point podcast. I'm Mark McKee, head of Viewpoint School, and today we are coming back to a topic we visited before in this podcast. We're going to talk about the ever-evolving landscape of college admissions and what matters most as parents and students face the journey. I am joined here by our Director of College Counseling, Rhody Davis. She has been at Viewpoint for nearly 20 years and is an industry subject matter expert. Rhody served as Director of International Admissions at the University of Chicago and held similar positions at other leading institutions, has been featured on NPR's Access College radio show, and is a frequent presenter at professional conferences. She also was in our episode 7, recorded all the way back in 2023. Rhody, thanks for joining us again here today.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
It's my pleasure. And we're sitting here together talking about our school year. It's February as we're recording this.
Yep.
And you and the College Counseling Office have been doing a fine job for our class of 2026. Already, some of them have results. Mm-hmm. Some of them are waiting for results. Mm-hmm. And yet we know that this landscape is changing every single year. So what's going on in the College Counseling Office now?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me and for giving me a chance to share a little bit about college admissions and college counseling. It's such a dynamic profession. It's what keeps me coming back every year. And I would imagine people tuning in today might want to know a little bit about what the trends are of this dynamic profession and how students might distinguish themselves, how they might make themselves into strong candidates. And I would imagine they might want to know how we can help them with that. So I'm really excited to share a little bit about that. And I'll start with what's happening in our office right now. Look, there is no downtime.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's 24/7, 365, 12 months a year. Is that right?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, July is a little quieter, but in the winter, just as we kind of put the seniors aside a little, they're all applied and we've sent their mid-year reports in early January, and they've heard some results, but there's still a lot to be known. We heard a lot of news at the end of January, and we'll hear more in about a month. So it's kind of quiet on the senior front. So we're spending a lot of time with juniors. We have pretty much finished our junior family meetings where we talk about course selection for senior year. We do an overview of testing, standardized testing, what everyone's individual testing plan might be. We talk about what their activities are and how they might elevate their involvement, maybe to be a leader in a club or captain a team, just sort of hear a little bit more about what really they're interested and excited about. So we are really working, we're spending a lot of time with juniors, and they are ready to go. It's so exciting to see how eager they are to research colleges, visit colleges. We have our East Coast College Tour that we're planning right now. We're starting to talk about our HBCU tour next fall. So encouraging juniors to visit campuses, very important part of the research. And then we will turn our attention to the 10th and the 9th graders as we check in with them and help them select classes for next year. And just, see how they're doing and continue the relationship building, because really that is at the core of what we do, is relationships.
So is it fair to say you've just finished junior family meetings? It's February. The juniors are, in a way, at the beginning of a formal process. You said they're ready to go. Mm-hmm. And that formal process will culminate in their applying, mm-hmm. and as our seniors have done, mm-hmm. and then ultimately in a result. I know, as I say, there's no 13th grade at Viewpoint School. They have to go somewhere.
We love them, but we want them to leave.
They do. We want them, if you're a senior parent out there, we want your kids to outgrow the school. We want them to outgrow it at the right time.
Yeah, and they're ready to do that.
They are ready.
Yeah.
Actually, before we talk about those juniors and their process, We've been looking back, you and I, at our seniors, and for folks who haven't heard, 116 students in our senior class of 26, right? It's about a typical Viewpoint senior class size.
Right.
And some of the things that stood out to me that you shared, 96% of them applied in an early program, 93% got good news early, which we want for them.
Yep.
And about half of the total number of their applications, the senior class filed, some 14,000 applications, I think.
Maybe more like 1,400.
1,400. Thank you. It felt like
14,000. I would still be like.
It felt like 14,000.
Yeah.
They filed 1,400 applications.
Yeah.
They filed about 12 to 14 applications per student, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's right. That's good numbers. Thank you. I was an English teacher, not a math teacher, and about half those applications were filed early. Yeah. So that's the process the juniors have ahead of them.
Right.
And yet that process you mentioned, you also work with 9th and 10th graders, because ultimately college counseling is looking at a student's 4-year upper school process. Isn't that right?
Yeah. That's a big important part about the relationship and the trust that we want to build with students and families. We want them to know us. We want to know them. We want to help them understand what's important to them. What do they care about? And not only is that related to the courses that they're selecting, and we have amazing courses here at Viewpoint. In fact, a bunch of new courses this year, AP Economics, I know, AP Cybersecurity, very popular, AP African American Studies. We have a new music business class, which is really cool. And every year we introduce...
With some new honor science classes, honor science seminar, I think, in biology.
Yeah, honors studies and research in biology, which is an alternative, a more research-focused alternative to AP Bio for our most advanced students in life sciences. So that's a really exciting class. So, yeah, we're always evaluating the curriculum, talking to our colleagues at colleges and universities to understand, like, what are growing majors, what are areas that on their campuses that they're looking to fill, so that we can help students think about maybe majors that they haven't thought about before. So,
college counseling office is a busy place.
Yeah.
You've been working with our 11th graders. You're getting ready to work with our 9th and 10th graders. I mean, something I don't think everyone appreciates. Because students are matched with their college counselor in 9th grade, you know these students by the time you're starting the formal process in 11th grade. Right? And, that means that you've been able to be a part of the process and shape their high school education so that you're not inheriting a 4-year program that's half done when you start working with them in junior year. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we are helping them choose courses. We're helping them ideally balance their academic load. Like that is especially, I say this all the time, the hardest students to do academic advising with are the 10th graders. The eager beaver, really strong 10th graders, because they've made their way pretty easily through 9th and 10th grade, and then junior year comes and they want to take numerous advanced placement classes, which we kind of widen in 11th grade. The course choices widen in 11th grade, and students are really excited to test themselves against these really hard classes, and often they underestimate the content that they need to master in these classes. Teachers are expecting them to think in a more sophisticated way, to write in a more sophisticated way, and it can be a lot. So we are really helping them understand how they can be most successful while meeting their goals of taking advanced classes and also not overdoing it.
We present more opportunities to a student than a student can take.
Yes.
I mean, I just see that, we have a greater than average number of AP and advanced courses, honors courses. Our teachers, as you say, and our departments are always thinking of new ways to motivate and inspire and challenge students. And it is a lot. So a student has to make some careful and strategic choices.
Right. Yeah. And absolutely. And I also think, too, sometimes students and families are part of this too, get caught up in the, AP sweepstakes. I got to take AP, honors, everything. And if we're talking about what's distinctive about a student's profile as they apply to college, it's not necessarily a bunch of advanced classes. I think at the highest level in terms of selective colleges, they are looking for students who are taking really advanced coursework and doing really well. But as I think about the students who are the most successful at admission in the most selective colleges, it's students who are really doing things beyond the curriculum, things that, maybe research at a high level with a mentor that they've identified in some way. Or maybe they're, I think one of our signature programs is our film program, our 4-year film program that culminates in Film 4 Honors, which is an amazing opportunity that really, that program directs students to tell stories, to share ideas that they are really driven to tell and share. So like helping them, students who are really creating stories in our film program that are really exciting and unique to them. Like that is not something that everyone does, right? It's something that is really unique to a student. And I think colleges, the most selective colleges, are really looking for ways in which students are really pushing themselves, maybe being driven. They would be doing these things whether or not they were going to put them on a college application, right? These things that are really high level, that are really unique. And it can also be like, being able to throw a football really well, or,
As you're describing the course selection process you're in with juniors right now, and will be in with sophomores and freshmen, even the most selective colleges that want you to take, quote unquote, the most rigorous courses possible in your school, there's no one path at our school for that. You could have 2 very different programs that would qualify as, I don't know, the most rigorous or highly rigorous, but that look very, very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's one of the really great things about our curriculum. You can build a foundation across disciplines: English, math, science,
That's
world
right.
languages, arts, computer science. And I would argue all of our students do. They build a strong foundation across the curriculum. But you can go very deep in each of those areas. In computer science now, you can do AP CSA, AP Cybersecurity, the Viewpoint Advanced Scholars classes, and game design and web development. In our English department, you can study post-AP, the Viewpoint Advanced Studies World Lit Honors class. You can take creative writing. You can take screenwriting. In our history department, our social studies department, you can take advanced classes in psychology, in African American studies, in global economics. We just added a new AP economics, micro and macroeconomics class that has become wildly popular. I'm hoping we can accommodate all the interest in that. But
students have been waiting for us to offer micro and macroeconomics for some time now.
Yes,
and,
they have. And we have an amazing global econ class, which is really like a political science class.
Which will have itself a new honors section this coming year.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so interesting to think about that. What you described in our curriculum reminds me of this idea of, in fact, you kind of did it, the T-shaped person, right? And we have a T-shaped curriculum, too, where there's a lot of breadth.
Yes.
But then you can also go very deep.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
It's interesting. You have had a lot of visitors to campus educating our parents, our 10th and 11th grade parents, our juniors and their parents for case studies. Tell me about some of the visitors you've had to campus this year.
Yeah, well, we've had Kirk Brennan, who is the director of admissions at USC, a longtime expert admission officer at USC, a legend in our profession. I would say he's so modest. I'm sure he would be horrified to hear me call him a legend, but he is. And he's a wonderful man and someone that, this is what's so great about this profession. Like, if you're in it for a long time, like, these people become your friends. You see them at conferences. You see them when you go visit their campuses. It's great. Like, Kirk came here and he spoke to our juniors, just sharing a little bit about life at USC and how students experience the curriculum there and the activities and involvement that students at USC engage in, which is actually, related to what students are doing here at Viewpoint. We really encourage students to take advantage not of just our curriculum, but all the different activities that we have here. Everything from our scholars programs, which is part of the depth of the curriculum piece, but in addition to that are, things like our Model UN program, our speech and debate, our athletics, so that when they head to these campuses that are offering all kinds of opportunities, they know what it's like to be involved, and they are yearning for that, and they know that that's how they make friends, and that's how they really become connected to the campus. So I like having these visitors. Kirk came from USC. We had John Marfield, who is the vice chancellor for admission at UC Berkeley, who also worked at the University of Utah.
He spoke to our sophomores.
He spoke to our sophomores.
And their parents just the other day.
Yeah.
And you had a whole, Fletcher Family Library full of college admissions officers for case studies.
Yeah, it's right. And, not only is it great, we want these experts to come to campus to share their knowledge with our students and families and share their expertise, but it's a chance for us to get to talk to them, like, what are they seeing on campus, on their campuses? Like, what trends are they seeing? Like, we had a really great conversation about early decision, which is one of the most dynamic aspects of college admission right now.
That's right.
USC just announced 2 weeks ago that they are all of their programs will be eligible for early decision. Students can apply ED to all majors at USC. This past year it was just the business school.
And before that, USC was one of the holdouts that said they would not do early admission.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes, exactly. No,
we're in a dynamic time where things that were never going to happen are beginning to happen.
Totally. Right? And this year, Michigan, the University of Michigan, a place that's very popular with our students, this was their first year of early decision.
Wow.
And, I think colleges are trying to, this is enrollment management.
That's right.
They're trying to control the numbers. They often struggle to staff their offices with enough readers to evaluate the applications. They're struggling to control yield, which is yield refers to the number of students who accept the offer of admission, which by many definitions, that is like one of the most important stats that colleges track is their yield, because it really says something about their popularity.
I was so impressed when John Marfield was here the other day from UC Berkeley, about the point that he made and then the system that it takes about, even at a place like Berkeley, which as a native Californian, to me is the classic big institution where you go there, you're going to get scale. And he really made the point, and I believed him, that they look at every application individually, and it takes them hundreds of readers to do so.
Yes. But
that they do that. And I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
He really made the point that I believe that as you're talking about all of these people and you're in this world of both college admissions and enrollment management, that this is an industry of people. And in the same way that this process is about each individual Viewpoint student, that there are people on the other side for them too.
Right. And that's
how do colleges know about our Viewpoint students? How do they know about Viewpoint?
Well, yeah, I just want to say it is a human process.
Yeah.
And it is one of the reasons why we bring these experts to our campus to kind of pull the curtain aside and show our families and students that there are really caring, loving people on the other side of this who care very deeply about students and who are really committed to doing a good job. So that's another reason why we bring people to campus like that, to talk to our families. But what was the question?
Oh, how do colleges know about us? Beyond the people who come to campus and,
Okay, we are a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
For students who are engaged, who are smart, who are interesting.
I think we say that they're world ready.
They are world ready, and they have a critical mindset of
they do.
Skills.
And
that we help them develop. Like I think about World Ready Week and the number of kids that we have next week who are presenting.
It's next week, yes.
Yes.
And I think we have a record number of student presenters, student workshops in our middle and our upper school.
Right.
And those students will be applying to college with that experience in their belt.
Yeah. Experiences of collaborating with their peers on developing a presentation. They're working on presentation skills. They're learning what it means to work with a mentor to put together a presentation. They're researching. I'm working with two boys who are learning more about NC2A, name, image, and likeness, the NIL, the new NIL policies. Yeah,
you are mentoring a World Ready Week session?
Yes, with two sophomore boys who wanted to do something on athletics, and so we kind of thought that would be sort of an interesting angle because they also wanted to do something related to college. But colleges are going to love, students with that sort of experience. That is going to be really helpful as they apply to college. So how is it that college admission officers know about Viewpoint? Well, they know that this is an amazing school with really interesting students who are doing cool things. And, when they're looking for college-bound students in LA, this is one of the places that is on their radar. So we have over 100 college representatives come through our office in the fall.
Wow.
It's a lot, but it's so fun because it's like...
There's no way to understand this place better than to come and experience it. And to come breathe the air on the campus and see the life of the campus. And it sounds like in addition to your network of contacts and in addition to those folks who do get to visit us, like our speakers we've had this fall, partly they get to know Viewpoint through our students, through our graduates who enroll at their schools.
Yeah, and we are actually working on a project right now where we are going to be contacting our recent alumni to learn a little bit more about what they've done after Viewpoint.
That's right.
Yeah, what are they involved in?
We talk a lot here about what does World Ready look like on the front end, but you're going to ask the students who've launched what it looks like on their end. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, this is so crazy. Just this past weekend, I was walking in my apartment complex, and this person came up to me and she said, "Did you work at Viewpoint?" And I was like, "Yes." Not anticipating that question from someone who lives in my building. And this person said, "I went to Viewpoint." And I remembered her name. Well, I remembered her face. She reminded me of her name. She was a graduate of a really great school, strong 4-year undergraduate degree that she got in business, and she is now getting an executive MBA.
That's fantastic.
I know. And I was like, okay, I told her all about our alumni project. So
what class was she?
She was 2017.
Oh, okay. So she's 9 years out of Viewpoint. If it's an EMBA program, that means she's employed.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. She's working in, it was one of those new professions that it was like clothing and retail, promotion, sales. I don't know. I said in a store, and she said no. So we didn't have a chance to do too much of a deep dive there, but.
That's such a great example. I mean, I think since we started, focusing on innovation, we've been focused on the fact that students were moving into a world that we need to prepare them for.
Yeah.
And for jobs that don't yet exist. And that's truer now even than it was in 2017.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's really incredible that, and she felt well prepared by our school.
Yeah, and had really positive things to say about it. And, and I think I talk about students a lot about majors. What should I major in? I don't know what to major in. And I encourage them not to feel too much pressure around that beyond, don't necessarily put yourself in a highly selective major like business, like engineering, unless you are absolutely a fit for that, and that is something that you absolutely want to do. But instead, focus on what are the skills that you need to build in college. Skills of, like with World Ready Week, collaboration, presentation, technology. Students are going to need to be able to nimbly use technology. Skills of presentation. They're going to need to be able to present things. They need to be able to critically read things, to synthesize information, to analyze data. That's going to be important no matter what they do. So I think if they can reframe the major question and think more about what are the skills I'm going to need to really do a host of different things after I get out of college. It takes some of that pressure off of I need to know what I'm going to major in, and also, gives them a versatile profile for any number of professions.
Higher education is changing so much that I think pathways are really different now, aren't they? I mean, there used to be a lot. I think we're moving into a world where we're moving away from the emphasis on what your major is going to be, and more towards the emphasis on what you can contribute. I've recently come across a number of Viewpoint grads who entered selective college programs, but found their way to industry before they graduated college, and it brought home to me how important the education we do here is. If this is that, liberal arts education, that T-shaped education you described, then it makes the breadth and the depth all the more important.
Right. Yeah. And I think you could probably say for some people this is an important terminal degree, right?
That's right.
They may not need to go to college.
And they may need much more education at the same time. It's interesting. I think we're moving into a world with more pathways, not just one.
Yeah, and yet we have, I think 100% of our students are admitted to college.
Yes.
And, students every year, not everyone matriculates immediately.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, there's gap year programs. And so if Viewpoint distinguishes ourselves in the world of schools for these college admissions offices, students also have to distinguish themselves, right, to stand out. How do Viewpoint students stand out, and how does Viewpoint help students to distinguish themselves?
Well, I think it starts with, one of the tenets of our college counseling philosophy is self-reflection. Really not being afraid to try new things, and to really think about why did I do that? Did I enjoy that? Was that worthwhile? Was that worth my time? Do I want to keep doing that? So trying to understand what are the things that are really important to them, and also, I don't know, maybe I think also there's so much chatter.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I have always talked to parents about the predictable headlines in the major media that follow the college admissions cycle. You know that in September, in December, in January, in April, there will be certain headlines in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and all the other papers about the college admissions process. But it's not just the media anymore. How many blog posts, podcasts, websites are there that will tell you, Instagram reels that will tell you how to get into college or how your kid will get into college?
Exactly. And I see this as in some ways preying on the terror and fear that people have about this process, as if things aren't going to work out.
Yeah.
And
what would your message be?
Well, I think trust. I come back to that notion of trust. Trust yourself to the students. You know, do the hard work. It will be hard, and it will work out. Trust yourselves. Trust your authentic interests. It's okay to have kind of weird goals. I think that is okay. Sometimes I think students feel judged by the things that they feel like they want to do. And I would say, don't listen to that. Trust yourself. Trust the people who care about you and who are here to help.
You mean
us?
You?
Miss Davis and the college counseling
The college counseling office, their teachers, their parents.
Yeah, trust their parents. You know, and parents and guardians, trust the process. Your kids will get exactly what they need.
You say that every year to our seniors, and I think you and I know because we see it year in, year out, that kids do get what they need, even if it's not a straight line.
Yes. The thing that I can say is we will be there with you every step of the way to help you get to where you need to go. So
it's interesting. I've been reflecting, listening to you about the pressure on students and their parents, including the pressure, not just the pressure to get in or the pressure to want a certain thing. I often think that the secret is better wanting, not better getting. But the pressure to strategize and to listen to all the voices in your head that are saying, okay, the way to get what you need or what you want is this or that or the other strategy. And I always think of you as very strategic, but I also hear you saying that you encourage students to be very authentic. So how do you achieve both of those things, to be both very strategic and very authentic at the same time?
Strategic authenticity?
Yeah. What is that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like with every process, there's a strategy, right, that can lead to, like, if you kind of study it and understand it and have an understanding of a process, you can develop a strategy that might be more effective than another strategy. So I think that there's always ways to understand the nuances of something and to make them work for, you know, what's going to work best for you.
I've heard you counsel students to avoid applying to a certain major because it's more impacted than another major, for example.
Or maybe not send a test score to some schools, but send it to other schools. And
you help students with those strategies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right.
And at the same time, do kids become cynical?
They can. I think it can be a game sometimes. And, you know, not that that's a bad way to look at it, but I do think one of the things that holds some students back is they become so tied to a specific outcome.
Yes.
And I talk in terms...
We both have seen that.
Yes. Every year.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's so helpful to talk in terms of options because there are so many amazing places out there. And you can accomplish your goals, and sometimes even more effectively at a smaller place, maybe that's a little less selective, where you can have maybe greater access to opportunities that are going to move the needle for maybe a grad school application.
That's right.
Or maybe an internship, because you're not duking it out with a lot of highly ambitious students at some of these super selective schools.
Well, yeah, life is long, God willing, and you know, the undergraduate college you attend won't be the final stop on your education journey.
For many people, no.
Yeah,
but,
that's right. It's funny. I'm thinking about the fact. I think over 10 years, it actually is 14,000 applications that Viewpoint students have filed over 10 years, and I think to about 800 colleges.
Yeah.
And I mention that because it seems like the challenge is, if a student's going to apply to 8 or 10 schools, the challenge is to narrow down from that 800 colleges to 8 or 10. Mm-hmm. And if they can manage the process so that those 8 or 10 are all first choice for them, mm-hmm. then they'll be fine.
Yeah, they will. And if it doesn't work out, you can transfer. This is just your next step. It's not the end of the line. And, you know, that's the one thing I want to leave with parents today is chillax, people. It's going to be okay. You're not going to be able to control every aspect of this process. And one of the best things you can do for your child is to model resilience, optimism, positivity, and that you'll get through this and it's going to be okay. I think sometimes the students who have the hardest time with this process are dealing with parents who are maybe tied to specific outcomes, mm-hmm. or maybe setting their students up for unrealistic expectations. And this is a very special time in families' lives.
It really is, isn't it? Parents have a lot of worries you've identified and fears. They also have a lot of opportunities. Mm-hmm. You and I were just getting a research report on our own students and their well-being. Mm-hmm. And what was one of the takeaways? That one of the biggest impacts on a student's well-being comes from what they're hearing and their relationship with their parents.
Right.
So parents have incredible power to be supportive in this process.
Yeah. And to set the stage for the adult relationship that they'll have with their kids.
I think that's something it's very easy to lose track of when you're parenting a 17-year-old, having gotten a couple of daughters through that journey myself, is that this is the beginning of their adult relationship with their children.
Yeah.
What a really good point.
I know. And I want families to celebrate this time in their family's life of transition and, you know, shifting of, you know, this might be the last full year that students are living at home.
Yeah.
So, you know, these are moments to cherish. And I feel bad for families that are fighting, and I'm always so excited when I see families really celebrate it.
That's really, there is a lot to celebrate. Parents are also concerned about the ROI on a college education. What do you see on, you know?
Yeah, the CFO types always want to know about the ROI.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
how do you see families? What lessons have you learned from watching families make decisions?
Well, I think that the families who can focus on what are the most important aspects of the college experience and how do the colleges that I'm applying to or where I've been admitted satisfy that criteria, like that's a good way to think about ROI. Like, do they have the majors that I'm looking for? Mm-hmm. Do they have opportunities like study abroad or internship programs or career centers that are really going to suit my needs? Am I going to be, like, is the physical location of the institution something that is going to be exciting or bring new opportunities? Like, I think ROI is like, world ready. It's different for everyone. So I think the thing I say about money and paying for college, which, oh my gosh, is like an enormous investment for many families, is like, just make a smart financial choice for your family. Have honest conversations early on in the process about affordability and the resources that are available for college, and have a very strong understanding about loans, student loan debt, and how is that related to ROI? It's like a value, right? Like, what am I getting at this more expensive school that I'm not getting at this maybe less selective school that gave me a big merit scholarship? Like, I don't know. Those are individual questions that families have to answer, and I think, understanding what you're going to get for the money you're paying and how that relates to what's important to you, that, in my mind, is what the ROI is all about.
How do you judge the success of our college counseling office?
Yeah, we make it till June 10th.
It used to be May 1st, right?
Yeah, well, May 1st is a great day, but now we have like protracted wait list actions and stuff.
That's one of the trends and how things are changing. Is it used to really be a process that was pointing to May 1st, and now it really is. So June 10th, you mean graduation?
Yeah.
I do love at graduation the role that our college counselors play in graduation, greeting every senior as they make their way across the stage.
Yeah.
Part of helping launch them.
Right. In fact, the college counselors actually help them up and down the stage. So we are like shepherding them even to the very end.
That's really special.
I love it. And I get to like put, the lays on our graduates and have one last moment to say goodbye. And I mean, I love our graduation. I love that it's in the morning.
Yeah.
That it's outside under a big tent.
It is. It's optimistic, right? It's
yes.
The day is beginning. And I think about that, especially when it comes to the process that you lead, that, graduation's a beginning. Yes. We don't want students to be done. I've in independent schools seen so many students who can graduate from schools like Viewpoint burnt out. And I hope that our students never do.
Yeah, and that is a sign of that is one thing that I feel we've done well in our office if we can get students to graduation and they feel excited for the next step, that they have good feelings about Viewpoint. I mean, I think everyone is ready to kind of leave at the end of it all.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
We all were too.
I know, exactly, because it's time.
It's time.
And that's the thing. Like, sometimes these juniors we're talking to now are so terrified about this idea of going to college, and I'm like, you don't have to go tomorrow or next month or even in 6 months. You have time. That's right. So, and you'll be ready when you do. But yeah, I'd like to think that success for me is that people feel supported, that they have felt like they had a good experience with the college counseling process, and that they felt like their counselor was supportive of them and helped them. And ideally that they are attending a place that they're super excited about. So that to me is how I measure success, is that each individual feels good about their next step.
It's funny, I was thinking as you were saying that, of the words of our mission, that we do this for each individual Viewpoint student. And what that means is if there's 116 seniors, there's 116 definitions of success.
It's actually 117.
Oh, is it 117
yeah,
this
sorry.
year? Ah, thank you.
Unless we lost some.
We have not since this morning. Not since this morning, no. That is very profound, that notion that there are that many definitions of success. How do you respond when you hear the word on the street, as I do, oh, this class did really well this year? I never know what to say when I hear that, other than they do well every year. What do you say to that?
I mean, seriously.
I think usually it means they got into colleges I've heard of.
Well, and I mean, it's part of the strategy of our applying early in the year is students have this irrational fear that they're not going to get into college.
That's right.
And so this early strategy kind of dispels that fear. And I think it puts a lot of good energy in the hallway when students start hearing back, even if it's not like top choice schools or, schools that are a little bit easier to get into.
Yeah. There's a whole range, right? Some are their ED1, they're one and done.
Yeah.
And it's the school that was their so-called dream school. And some, you're right, it's an early application, so they get an early win, and they're still waiting for others.
Yeah,
and you
it's
get the
like
whole
a back
range.
pocket option.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, every year feels like a good year.
I think so too.
And it's not over till it's over. Like, that's just it. Like, there are some kids for whom it was over, like this year in September.
That's right.
And then every year.
Thank you, ED0, the new thing on the block.
I know. Check it out at the University of Chicago. But like every year, there are kids who wait until 12:59 on April 30th to make their final choice. So I don't know. Every year there's heartbreak.
That's right.
Every year there are unusual, whoa, we didn't know that would happen, and look, it happened, kind of surprising good news. So, and every year there are kids who are struggle, and then in the very end of the process, it all comes together. So, and for some kids, it happens in October. So it's different for everyone, and it's hard to predict who's going to, kind of be on which side of it.
Senior year is 25% of a 4-year high school education.
Yeah.
Rather obviously, and they're not done in September or even in February, right?
No.
There's a lot of senior year left, and it sounds like your office is part of giving them back that full senior year as a part of their Viewpoint experience.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that really the most important academic function of senior year is to prepare for college. This notion of senioritis, fight it, because the best way to deal with freshman year calculus at college X is going to be doing well in your math class senior year.
Well, I look around at our seniors, and sure, I see some of them who have that look in their eye like they're done. But I also see those very same kids are really just killing it across all kinds of domains right now. What they're able to do, the work they're able to do, the performances they're able to deliver in every element, academics, arts, athletics, they're just inspiring.
Yeah, this time of year for seniors is some of the best work.
Okay, so I watch you and your college counselors, and you have a lot of fun.
We do.
You seem to really enjoy the students and what you do. What is the secret to that?
Well, this profession is very people-centered. Everything from the relationships that we have with college admission officers. I mean, there's no quiet moment when you get a bunch of college admission people together. Everyone is chatting. It's very, human-centered. And I got into this profession because I just have this innate curiosity about people. I love to hear what students are doing on the weekends. I've been asking the 10th graders that I've been meeting with over the last couple of days, what are you up to for spring break? And it's just so fun to hear what they're doing in their lives, what they did over Labor Day weekend or President's Day weekend. I like hearing what classes are you liking? I'm naturally curious about their lives. I think teenage culture is fascinating to me. And, I am not a teenager.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel, I compare myself sometimes to my friends who may have children who are now a lot older, but don't work with kids. And they don't get a lot of, popular culture and stuff that's happening in the world. So I feel like more informed by hanging out with teenagers. And they're hilarious. They do crazy stuff and say crazy things all the time. And so I think when I spend a lot of time hiring, like we spend a big effort when we have to hire for our office, because it's easy. I want people who want to be with teenagers, who want to be at a school, not necessarily people who are like wonks for college admission, and there's data people who love that part of it. Like, that's helpful, but like you can learn how to be about the college stuff, but it's really hard to learn how to be a counselor, to learn how to be interested in other people. Like you either are or you're not. And so that's one of the things that we really hire for. Like, and I think it leads to like a really fun, upbeat place. And I say that all the time to my staff, like this has to be good and it has to be fun. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, we spend a lot of our life here. So, let's try not to focus on the stuff that doesn't matter, get the big stuff right, the important stuff, and support one another. I feel like we have to model that for kids too.
I always say your team really models collaboration and teamwork, which is an essential skill. But it's really terrific. It's great to hear that, because it's obvious in the work that you all do that you really do understand and care about students and their outcomes.
Yeah, we do.
And well, that's, thank you so much for this conversation. It's when we were in that meeting the other day looking at the well-being of our students, we had another reminder about the importance of relationships. I think that's been a thread through this conversation. And that good relationships and good process leads to great outcomes. Is there one lesson or takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I feel like I dropped those along the way, but I just come back to there's a plan. The universe has a plan for you. And it's really important to like be open to what that might be. And not to have too much anguish about trying to grab things that aren't within your grasp, and trying to be more open to the things that actually land, that come to you naturally. I think that's something I work on daily in my life, and I think that it's really helpful in the college process to like trust that it's going to be okay, and you're going to land where you're supposed to land. So, and when you don't land, when you land off target, we'll be there to help you get back up and, stick the next landing.
For our students who are so directed and motivated and inspired, that is great advice to think about. And thank you. And thank you to our audience for being with us and hearing us today. I'm sure the next time we talk about college counseling, the landscape will be different yet again.
Yes, we can only hope.
This world of higher ed has a great spotlight on it, and yet we are all drawn to it. The light and the heat under the spotlight. So thank you to our audience for listening to us. This is On Point. the view from the College Counseling Office.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Rhody. Thanks, everyone.
On Point is produced by Viewpoint School, an independent school in Calabasas, California, serving students in grades TK through 12. You also can find the On Point podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Viewpoint School channel on YouTube, and at viewpoint.org/onpoint.